Good evening, everyone. I'm back after a little gap, but I'm back with something interesting. So before I proceed, let me welcome you to my channel. Thank you for watching Eloquent English Enterprise. It's always a pleasure to return with something new, something unique. Okay, but this idea was given to me by a very senior educator. She just mentioned it to me, and I thought it was a good idea. So it's for you, Madhu ma'am. Thank you for giving me this wonderful idea. So let's start off with the presentation straight away. Okay, I'll share my screen. And here we are. So welcome everyone to my channel. I hope you will like this effort of mine just as you've liked the other ones. And if you do like, do give me a thumbs up. And if possible, share it with your colleagues. I'm sure people would be interested in learning something new. So let's start off with something which I am posting for the very first time. And that is famous lines from English and American plays and poems. Okay, some very famous lines, some very famous quotations from different plays and poems spread across English literature and American literature, both. Okay, so here we are. The first one, to be or not to be, that is the question. I'm sure you've all heard it, and I'm also sure you know who spoke it or who was the speaker, and from which text have these lines been taken. So let's see who it was. To be or not to be, that is the question. I'm sure you all know that was William Shakespeare. So let's see. These lines or this singular line has been taken from Hamlet, which of course has been written by the very famous William Shakespeare. The next one. The woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep and miles to go before I sleep. I'm sure you all know that. Yes, it's Robert Frost from Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. He had landed somewhere close to some very beautiful forest, and he and his horse did not want to move from there, but then they had to, because life and time do not wait for anyone. So this is a very famous poem by Robert Frost, Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. I wandered lonely as a cloud. I'm sure all of us who've loved nature poems have heard this line before, earlier, and also this one. 10,000 saw I at a glance. I'm sure my classmates would agree, because this one was another very favorite poem of ours as school students. And of course, it was Daffodils by William Wordsworth. Half a league, half a league, half a league onward, all in the valley of death rode the 600. This is a very dear poem. It's very dear to my heart because I think I did it somewhere in class 6 or 7. And it's full of bravery. It's full of courage. It's full of patriotism. So here it is, The Charge of the Light Brigade by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Okay, so The Charge of the Light Brigade. The boy stood on the burning deck whence all but him had fled. This boy had been told by his father to stay on the deck because he said, I'll come. Don't go anywhere till I return. So he continued to call his father, Father, what are my orders? But his father was already dead. So the boy also perished. He did not move. Everybody kept calling him, but he didn't. A very pathetic poem, the dedication of a son to his father. And this famous poem is none other than Casabianca, which has been written by Felicia Dorothy Hemans, all right? Or Hemans. You can pronounce, proper nouns anyways. So Casabianca, really nice, very wonderful poem. Cowards die many times before their death. et tu, brute. I'm sure we all know this. This is Julius Caesar by William Shakespeare once again. Okay, cowards die many times before their death. In fact, there are so many famous lines from Julius Caesar. I'll definitely try to incorporate them later in some other video. To err is human, to forgive divine. Okay, to err is human, to forgive divine. We all know this. And who wrote this? Let's see. This was written in an essay on criticism by Alexander Pope. I mentioned him in my previous video as well. He was a satirist from the Victorian era. So this is one of his essays on criticism. And this is a very famous line: to err is human, to forgive divine. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. So very contradictory. Good times, bad times, and a mix of them. Who wrote this? A Tale of Two Cities by Charles Dickens. These lines have been extracted from A Tale of Two Cities, very famous story on, it's based on historical facts. So Charles Dickens. All the world's a stage and all the men and women merely players. This was, I think it was translated into Hindi in one of our greatest movies of all times, Anand. Rajesh Khanna had said something about this. ये तो एक रंगमंच है, बाबू मशाए और हम सब कठपुतलियां. So this is actually it's an English play, and of course we know who's written this. It's As You Like It. It's been extracted from As You Like It by William Shakespeare. Okay. And now, vanity, thy name is woman. Yes, we are very well aware that women do behave with a little bit of vanity almost all the time. It just comes naturally to them. So where were these lines found? Here. Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy, where his leading man, Mr. Gabriel Oak, he sees the leading lady of the novel, Bathsheba Everdeen, for the first time. Because when nobody's looking, she takes out a mirror, she looks at herself, gives herself a very proud smile, a very vain smile rather. And the moment she sees her coachman coming back, she puts it back into the packet. Gabriel Oak observes this and he says, vanity, thy name is woman. Good fences make good neighbors. Yes, this was a belief of somebody's neighbor. And whose neighbor was this? Robert Frost's neighbors and a neighbor. And the poem is Mending Walls. I'm sure teachers would have taught this sometime or the other in their lives as teachers. Ha. This one is for all of us Indians. Into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. I'm sure we've all studied or we've all read these lines, and it was none other than Gurudev Tagore in the poem Where the Mind is Without Fear. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, into that heaven of freedom, my father, let my country awake. Okay, very inspiring lines. So that was the last one. And today, on the 23rd of April, I would like to convey my greetings and best wishes to all of you English teachers and otherwise also, because today happens to be the World English Language Day. Okay, so heartfelt greetings and best wishes. You people are doing a yeoman's job. Continue to do that. Best wishes to all of you on this day. And of course, my thanks for watching. So please do like, subscribe, and share if you found this to be a good one, something different. And I'll be back with something new once again soon. And I'll be glad if you can share your views about or the topics which you would want me to cover. Okay, I'll be back with something very different very soon. but no sneak peeks this time. Okay, so all the best. Good night. Have a lovely day tomorrow. Bye bye. God bless.